For you, at any point, envision what it resembles to be caught in a submerged maze, where one wrong maneuver can change. For what seems like forever, well, Marci didn't need to envision. He resided it somewhere down in the core of Hungary's Kossuth cave. We should set the stage. Marci, this carefully prepared cave jumper, with a yearn for investigation, ended up in the gut of the Kossuth locale's cavern framework. Kossuth Cave Siphon 3, a truly precarious submerged labyrinth, turns into the location of a misfortune. However, how about we make a stride back briefly and study the Kossuth cave settled in the Ellis Public Park, on the edges of the town of Kossuth. This underground miracle found in 1956 welcomes gutsy wayfarers to unwind its secrets, bringing them into an unpredictable dance between the dry and submerged domains. The cavern's tale is woven into the actual texture of its entries with a novel mix of excellence and hazard. In Good Climate Travelers, explore the dry territory, navigating stroll on wires and stepping stools to arrive at the notorious Sad Direct. Here, a cavern streams towards the entry, sporadically framing a lake, a climate that difficulties even the most prepared travelers. With a known length of almost 1,500 m and an upward expansion of 52 m, Kossuth cave hides mysteries underneath its surface. A rundown upper branch enhanced with tapered rocks adds an additional layer of persona to this underground domain. Anyway, the cavern's standing became entwined with misfortune in 1997 when Zoltan Kinka, a committed examination jumper, lost his life in the Sad Siphon, the submerged section tight. Mud and canvassed in rubble residue presented critical difficulties to investigation. Enter the Aora Jumping Club, outfitted with a precise and completely ready methodology. Long periods of careful work included exhuming the submerged entry, enlarging restricted segments, and introducing a solid security rope. This lifesaver became significant, directing jumpers along the siphon and guaranteeing a protected revisitation of the surface in any event. When perceivability dropped to zero, as we set out on Marci's story, it's fundamental for handle the one-of-a-kind qualities and history of Kossuth Cave. A confounding stage where the strength of the human soul would before long be tried against the powers of nature. Now you may be pondering, who is Marci? Very much let me separate it for you. At 42 years of age, Marci isn't simply a normal traveler, he's quite possibly of Hungary's best jumper, flaunting various public titles, silver and bronze decorations at the European titles and honors from world rivalries. Marci's story isn't bound to the submerged domain. He's an accomplished caver in dry regions, a driving force in submerged cave investigation, and a functioning individual from public and global examination. Moving on from the College of Actual Schooling, in 2008 jumping changed from a recreation action into his everyday work. His commitment to submerged work arrived at worldwide recognition during the Hablani mishap, the boat impact debacle of 2019 in Budapest, procuring him a state grant. So no seriously avoiding the real issue, Marci makes a plunge, anticipating another standard investigation. However, think about what life tosses a curve. Unexpectedly, this cavern isn't simply a jungle gym, it's a battle for endurance. Hang on, cuz it's going to get genuinely extraordinary. A submerged breakdown blindsides Marci, fixing his destiny. Presently picture this: Marci, the cavern maestro, dives into the chasm of Siphon 3. However, this ain't no common jump. This cavern, popular for its interesting sections, tosses him a curve. Marci, filled by his investigation magic battles as he explores through the submerged maze. Let me paint the image more clear. Siphon 3 resembles the dim, puzzling Slover of cavern frameworks. It's thrill, exciting, enamoring. However, man, it can make you extremely upset. Marci realizes this, yet, much to his dismay, that one routine investigation would transform into a decisive thrill ride. So there he is, exploring the submerged maze like a legend in a film. Then bam, misfortune strikes. Marci's currently trapped in the cave's grip, profound inside its snare of sections. It's not only a plunge any longer, It's a frantic bid to remain alive. The caution booms and an all-out salvage mission would get going. This was extraordinary, right? Yet hang tight. It's going to get more stunning. As Marci adventures further inconspicuous difficulties, reappear the most obviously terrible, happens submerged breakdown, a quiet power that grabs Marci's life away, very much like exploring through life thinking you have it taken care of. And afterward, the ground disintegrates underneath your feet. However, before we plunge once more into the confusion, we should discuss the genuine MVPs, the overlooked yet truly great individuals of the Cavern Salvage Group that would endeavor to bring Marci back from the profundities. We got people like Peter Gruber, Victor Puku, and some espresso energized specialists. They transform routine gatherings into life and demise conversations. Now you may be asking, for what reason would it be advisable for me? I care about these individuals. Well, they're not only your normal heroes. Peter Gruber, for example, is the person who's had to deal with more cavern undertakings than you've had hot suppers. He resembles the Batman of cavern salvages, short the cape and Victor Papa carefully prepared jumper with 25 years of submerged experience, including a wonderful 15 years committed to buckle plunging Victor's excursion into duty wit. The profundities started in the Isplair submerged cave, jumping bunch where he stays a resolute part, right up till now. Furthermore, for the beyond 5 years, Victor has loaned his skill to the Amora Plunging Club. Victor's association with Kossuth cave runs profound. He joined the cavern's examination endeavors during a significant second when Siphon 2 went through a submerged enlarging activity, an errand embraced with an etch and sledge. This involved methodology, uncovers Victor's obligation to investigation as a member, as well as a supporter of the development of the cavern's submerged scene. In the event that you believe that was great, standby till you hear this. With north of 50, makes a plunge. Kossuth Victor Pop has become personally acquainted with its complex entries past Hungary. His enthusiasm stretches out to submerged cave investigation in Bosnia, where he teams up with the M4 Club. In his own life, Victor isn't simply a devoted voyager. He's a spouse and a dad to a 14-year-old kid. This diverse individual, similar as Marci Me, has dared to the farthest reaches of Siphon 3, as of now the most profound place of Kossuth Cave at 30 m. Beneath these legends, task reached out past a basic salvage. It turned into a fastidious assessment of the specialized components introduced in the cavern. Wire rope scaffolds, stepping stools and telephone frameworks confronted examination under the heaviness of a strengthened salvage activity. The arranging included details, as well as the essential coordination of Marci's recovery through 4 jumps and transport on the dry segment, each step from the delivery at 30 m to getting appendages, and it was carefully wanted to move through siphons. An expressive dance of salvage, arranged with accuracy during the 7-day stretch of the salvage, a stunning 20 associations, and more than 250 people assumed critical parts in the activity. The submerged feature of the salvage fell under the obligation of the Aora Plunging Club, while the dry segment of the cavern was overseen by the Hungarian Cavern Salvage Administration. The relationship of cavern heroes of northern Hungary, the Bone Cave Salvage Administration, and the cavern heroes of Speleo Rosova Surface Administration and Strategies were deftly taken care of by the Irritation District Search. Furthermore, Salvage Administration, the Counterterrorism Community, the Common Security, the ACTC, Public Park Chief API, and the District of Jos Vafo, a few different associations likewise, gave imperative help, nearby exhibiting a surprising presentation of IFUF cooperation and coordination despite difficulty. As the salvage mission started off, the cavern group ended up confronting a considerable rival in Kith Cave. With its thin siphons and complex pathways, the cavern turned into their proving ground. Each call made inside its profundities resonated through the unfurling show, and time became both a partner and an enemy. Fresh insight about the emergency spread to the worldwide cavern and plunged local area-provoking proposals of help from all corners. Anyway, Kossuth Cave was particularly simply picked. Not many arranged to explore its complexities were considered fit for the test. The strong cavern team left on an excursion through the difficult turns driving directly to the center of Kossuth Cave, digging profound. They experienced impediments that stretched their abilities and assurance to the edge. The strain raised as they wandered further into the obscure, all determined by a solitary mission to recover Marci. In the background, significant General Omandoki, Marci's chief and a firefighting stalwart, joins the undertaking. He and his crew carefully organized an arrangement set apart by accuracy and knowledge. Each part of the salvage plan went through exhaustive thought, from gear arrangement to plunge strategies. A large number of days, the salvage story unfurled collapsed with each jump, delivering another arrangement of hindrances and winds. Good. We should hit stop for a seat. Day 5 rolls in, carrying with it the clashing energy of contacting Marci. The mornings, like the ones preceding Tragedies gatherings, coronavirus testing prep routine with a hint of direction, a group of 6 equipped to plummet into the void. Cog wheels up now. This ain't simply a salvage missions. It's a fellowship slipping into the obscure. Mandy's presence adds a layer of gravity and update that this ain't just about caves, about a bond goes past the surface. What occurs next is an ensemble of determined moves. The jumpers emerge from the maze, hints of their process carved on them. Wire ropes, fixed hardware checks, stage set for what's to come, and afterward, the stomach-punching second. Marci's folks and customized organization. His significant others say their farewells. It's as of now not simply a salvage. It's an aggregate undertaking of the human soul against the powers of nature, a demonstration of the unyielding will to bring Marci home. As the sun ascends on day 6, the cavern heroes rally again, their kinship whole by the difficulties confronted up until this point today denotes one more basic point in the salvage mission: wake-up routines segue into arrangements in the cavern. Errands anticipate the heroes in the dry areas. It's a dance of wire ropes and lowered stepping stools, every component examined with the accuracy of a watchmaker. The group, now a perfectly tuned symphony, knows everywhere of the cavern. Andras Dyack and Victor Pup, the recognizable countenances, step into the spotlight again, bearing the obligation of exploring the unforgiving submerged sections. Siphon 2, once an impassable boundary, presently holds mysteries that could direct Marci's entry. Geophysicists murmur regarding an air cavity beneath the surface, a neglected aspect that could change the game. Yet desperation wins, and the investigation course takes a transitory secondary lounge. A trump card enters a battery-controlled drill from Slovenia. It's not only a device, it's a vital aspect for extending submerged holes. Difficulties continue, yet the group adjusts, showing flexibility, even with misfortune. Press requests, public interest, and the need for mystery include zest with the existing blend. It's not simply specialized complexities. It's a hit the dance floor with outer assumptions while monitoring the mission's holiness. Feelings resound through each activity. Marci's folks and customized structure flipping among trust and trepidation. The presence of this concealed, profound current adds layers to the story. It's not only a salvage, it's a human excursion grappling with nature's intricacy. As the group sets out on day 7, expectation hangs thick in the air. The present arrangement inches them closer to the surface, a good omen toward the finish of this difficult excursion. The day moved in like déjà vu gatherings arrangements, jumpers showing up around early afternoon. Undertakings anticipate the cavern heroes in the dry cavern, guaranteeing each component is made. Preparations, organization of sections, wire ropes and lowered stepping stools turns into a second home. The plunge group, drove by Andras Dyack and Victor Pup, positions themselves. Today plunge is a succession of painstakingly coordinated errands, a movement submerged that inches them near to a definitive objective: exploring the submerged domain. The jumpers move with reason. Siphon 3 unfavorably named irredeemable turns into the stage for the complicated artful dance reverberations of their activities. Resound through the huge space in the dad's corridor. Victor Pop burns through 45 minutes underneath the surface, evaluating Marci's situ circumstance, the sensitive activity god on as they outline the submerged scene, crawling nearer to the surface with each move. It's not simply specialized complexities. It's a close-to-home thrill ride for the group well-being arranging, and the clinician support make a fragile equilibrium in the midst of the salvage. The day unfurls as arranged, a demonstration of the accuracy with which the group executes each errand in the fest. A safe haven over the water customized structure finds comfort in the organization of companions and the enduring help encompassing her as dusks. The jumpers return to satiate, to rest, a routine disturbed by the desperation as Zolder visitor house walls give testimony regarding the Joe position of depletion, an assurance, an unfaltering group preparing for the difficulties that untruth ahead. The beginning of the 8th day carries with it a substantial need to get a move on as the cavern heroes and all partaking associations collect for the last plummet. The beat of the activity enlivens and arrangements unfurl with a decided feeling of direction. Today is bound to turn into a significant second in the records of the salvage mission as the clock approaches 8:00 a.m. A last preparation resounds through the cavern entrance. The principal transport group leaves on their process, carefully checking each rope past stepping stool and phone en route. The stage is set for the zenith of 7 days in length. Adventure jumpers, clinical groups, and the pressing team stick to this same pattern, each assuming an essential part in the fantastic finale. The air is accused of a blend of expectation and solemn assurance most of the way to Tagus. An error in the phone set takes steps to disturb correspondence, a minor hiccup quickly tended to by sending in substitution set at the platform. The jumpers plan for their last submerged artful dance and dress. Diak, the divinely selected individual for the last plunge, wanders into Siphon 1 underneath the dad's lobby to recover Marci. Well-being jumpers Victor Poe and Leos Cares stand balanced on the stage, prepared for any possibility. Andres plummets into the water, vanishing into the shadows of Siphon 1. The minutes tick by in tension air pockets, breaking the surface as an indication of something going on under the surface beneath. The heaviness existing apart from everything else lingers palpably, and the system breath of the group reflects the submerged quiet. 22 minutes after the fact, Andres arises. Marci and Toe, the jumpers, have succeeded. They have arrived at the last phase of the salvage. Marci's dead structure lies on the stage, an impactful sign of the preliminaries got through. The loading group, a limited handful with the overwhelming errand of getting ready Marci for the last climb, leave on their grave obligation. The cot transport begins exploring the caverns, exciting bends in the road, crossing the lake on snag extensions, lastly arising into the sinkholes of Titus. The cot, bearing the heaviness of 7 days' personal unrest, arrives at the entry shaft at 1:52 p.m. The cavern salvage activity has arrived at its decision, the entry tent wrapping Marci as the group inhales a deep breath, feeling spill over to tears, quietness, and the wail of alarms from Marci's firefighting confidence, reverberation through the Tona Gorge in the thigh town. A ringer rings in memory of Marci, denoting the finish of an extraordinary excursion and the start of recuperating for those contacted by the reverberations of the Kossuth cave. In the event that you partook in this holding excursion into the profundities, think about leaving a like and buying into our feed for additional dazzling investigations and savvy accounts. Stay tuned for additional accounts that unwind the cryptic embroidery of our reality by and now to set out on future undertakings with us.